So I managed to get in contact with the team behind Hellclock, a new roguelike ARPG from Rogue Snail, and they asked me the question, Nixxiom, would you like to try out our little game, please? And I thought to myself, yeah, I'll check it out. The game is already receiving a ton of positive praise from the community due to its excellent gameplay, voice acting, and its challenge. Like, damn. Let's just read some of these reviews, shall we?
Good game, me like it, me play it.
1 hour, and I died 0.3 hours, and I'm addicted.
Gun goes pew pew, and demon goes blank.
Damn. Wow.
So yeah, the video is sponsored behind the team behind Hellclock, but when we talked, they didn't tell me what to say to you all. They just gave me a game key and said, check the game out, tell people what you think. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. And of course, I'm gonna put a link down below in the description if you wanna check out the game any further. So, this is an action role-playing game, you know, like Diablo 4 and Path of Exile 2. But unlike those two games, you're not gonna be ashamed to say out in public that you actually play and enjoy Hellclock. As you can imagine, if you have played an action role-playing game before, it's pretty straightforward. You play as some dude, you run around, you kill a ton of enemies, you get some loot, you learn some new skills, and you fight the occasional boss every so often that absolutely wrecks you. At least, sorta. But not really, but kinda. I'll explain in the gameplay section of this video. The game is actually really unique in its design and how it works, which is one of the reasons why people enjoy it so much. And speaking of unique, everything in this game is in Portuguese. So if you're a sucker like me for games that actually explore a little bit of history from other people's cultures and different time periods, you're really gonna enjoy this game. And the art style, hey, anybody here ever played a little game called Darkest Dungeon by chance? I bet you did. This art style and all the cutscenes and the lore moments, it's fantastic. And it just reminds me of Darkest Dungeon. What can I say? Like, anybody else? Just me? All right. But speaking of lore, this game story-wise takes place just after the event of the Canudos Massacre, which is pretty much where the Brazilian government showed up and massacred a bunch of their civilians. And when I say a bunch, I mean like a lot of them. Like, it's pretty dark stuff. You can read more about it on Wikipedia if you want after this video is over, but what is the big deal? Yeah, you got a simple, straightforward story and a cool looking art style, but why are there so many positive reviews of Hellclock so far if it's just another ARPG? Well, Hellclock does something a bit different with its gameplay and storytelling, which is probably why everybody is so addicted to this game right now, including myself. And hold on to your horses, because this is gonna be a little bit to explain here, but I'm gonna do the best that I can. Hellclock isn't exactly like other ARPGs because it does a floor system. Let me explain. You start out as this little nooblet and you enter into a mob meat grinder facility, which is located in the basement of a little house in the woods. You're fighting zombies, finding treasure goblins, you're leveling up periodically as you slaughter everything in your sight, which gives you access to choosing new ways to customize your character during this particular run. You feel like a complete badass, you're unstoppable, and then suddenly some big ass brute shows up and completely turns your anus inside out. But hey, but what's this? While you were down there, you found some sick looking gear while killing mobs and opening up treasure chests, and you got all these new gems. So what can you do with all this stuff? Well, you can purchase new things back at your base to make your character more powerful, like new gear, trinkets, whatever. You can learn some new abilities to customize your play style to however you want to play. And later on, you can even unlock the bell, which lets you customize your passive skills and progress in your power even further. So cool, you got some new gear, you got some new items and stuff, you got some new little customizable passives. So you go back down into the basement for another run, and now you're even more powerful than you were before. You're going way faster, and suddenly that brute that turned your ass inside out, well, you show back up and you totally wreck him. And then after that, you start making your way even deeper into the depths, and then suddenly your clock runs out. Yeah, that's right, everybody. You have a limited amount of time that you can do these runs. So the goal is to go as deep as possible into this literal frickin' nightmare before the timer runs out. But don't worry, as you grow in power and you unlock more things at the magic bell, you can do things like increase the clock time limit, unlock portals to help you skip floors that you've already done in the past and beaten, and stuff like that. And as you get all these passives and these upgrades and items and all these things that you'll discover while doing these runs over and and over, eventually you will quite literally become a meat grinder for those first few floors. So where once they gave you a little bit of trouble, now with a little bit of time investment and a little bit of new power-ups, yeah, you're just this unstoppable killing machine, and it's freaking awesome. And all this insane damage that I'm doing, one of the reasons why is because of these legendary trinkets that you can get while you're down here on the floors. Now, you can find these things completely at random off of bosses or whatever, but they all have different ways that they customize your abilities to make them even more powerful. So one trinket, for example, might make some of your ranged attacks explode. One item causes you to shoot lightning everywhere, or just whatever. The gear just adds even more madness and sense of power to your character, and it's all upgradable as well. And I don't think I need to say this to you all, but obviously there's a lot of different trinkets and things to find while you're doing these runs, so you can really customize your character to do whatever sort of build that you want, whether you want to be a ranged gunslinger like you see here, or just a melee buzzsaw of death. So let me just sum all that up for you again. You have a ton of replayability in this game thanks to the randomly generated floors, enemies, treasures, and all the trinkets that you can find. You have multiple abilities that you can choose from so that you can truly create your own unique build as you progress. There's lots of customization and progression in the form of gear that you can find or purchase, as well as at the bell with its giant talent tree. So the game is very, very much, and I mean very, very much, a just one more run, just one more run sort of experience. You just get hooked on it pretty fast. And eventually you've become so powerful that you are just delighting in the massacre that you are committing with each run, and it's really good fun. When it comes to ARPGs, I love it when you reach that level of just ridiculousness with your abilities, and it's just nothing can stand in your path, and it's so much fun. But of course, the game gets harder and harder as you progress deeper and deeper into the floors. The bosses get more and more challenging, and so you're not going to be bored playing this game. There's always like that sense of progression to beat that next big bad guy that you're going to find deeper down in the depths, and it's a ton of fun. Okay, so this is the part of the video where I share all of the bad things that I have experienced while playing Hellclock. Things that were bad for me, things that might be bad for you. So here's number one. Here we go. Sometimes, in my experience playing Hellclock, when I boot up the game, my cursor gets stuck. And then I gotta Alt-Tab out and hop back in, and then everything is fixed. It literally takes 2 seconds. It's probably even been fixed by the time of me releasing this video. This is the only bug that I've encountered. All right, it's all I got. Aside from this giant freaking nasty ass worm looking thing, which, oh my goodness, this boss pisses me. All right, number 2, you can only play as one character in this game, this guy. Some of you guys might find this to be a con. For me personally, I don't really see it as a big deal, but you don't have classes like in other ARPGs. Instead, you just customize this one guy to how you want to play him. So I just wanted to say that because I know that some of you guys might really want, you know, classes and being able to customize your character to make them how you want them to look. It might be a deal breaker for some of you guys, but I will admit, it would have been cool to be a pure warrior in this game, like no pistol and all, just a big axe and a big attitude. And that's it. That's really all I got. Like, all the positive reviews that you guys are seeing over on Steam, it ain't because the game is full of bugs and broken gameplay, okay? Hellclock over on Steam, it's only $20, guys, and you can easily sink hours upon hours upon hours into the title. It wouldn't surprise me if like the average person watching this who ends up checking it out puts 50+ hours into Hellclock before either they beat it or they just get a little burnt out. It's just a lot of fun. Personally, I'm gonna tell you a story. I've been looking for a new game to really hook me and draw me in since my Vampire Survivors kick ended. I love that game, just saying. And Hellclock has really been whetting that appetite of mine. I love the graphics, I love the music, I like the setting, the gameplay is great. It's quickly becoming my go-to game whenever I just have an hour to spare and I just want to do some mindless monster killing. So if you go and check out Hellclock, you'll see what I'm talking about. You see that link down below in the description? Click it. It helps me, it helps the channel, and maybe, just maybe, it'll help convince my wife that I'm like I'm actually working when I'm sitting in my dark room playing Hellclock instead of, as she puts it, quote, playing those silly little video games, end quote. Sweetheart, do you realize the level of skill and talent and hand-eye coordination and humility that it takes to defeat the bosses in Hellclock when you are severely underleveled and undergeared? Yeah, of course you don't, because you're a complete noob. I said it. Go play Hellclock, everybody. You'll love it.